Getting your visa right is the very first and honestly the most crucial hurdle you need to clear. Think of mastering this process as your ultimate travel hack. In this explainer, we're going to break down everything you need to know to submit a completely flawless application, dodge those dreaded rejections, and keep your vacation plans entirely intact.
Because Vietnam is absolutely incredible, right? Picture yourself wandering the bustling streets of Hanoi or cruising the stunning waters of Ha Long Bay. But getting there? Well, that means carefully navigating a pretty strict, unforgiving visa bureaucracy. The authorities are highly particular. We're talking about a system where even a minor typo can lead to processing delays or outright rejections that could essentially cost you your entire trip. It is a high-stakes data entry test. But hey, don't panic. That's exactly why we're unpacking this procedural roadmap together today. To get you there smoothly, we are going to tackle this in 4 quick steps. Before you apply, required documents, the online application steps, and finally, fees and tracking. Starting things off with Section 1, before you apply. Before you even open a browser tab, you've got to have a few absolute basics locked down. Make sure your passport is valid and in pristine condition, meaning it's not expiring anytime in the next 6 months. You also need to know your exact arrival and departure dates, plus the specific entry port you'll be using to enter Vietnam. You absolutely cannot just guess these. And here's a huge pro tip for you. Make sure you're connected to a really stable internet connection. The official portal is notorious for timing out, and losing your progress halfway through is incredibly frustrating. Getting totally organized early on prevents those simple, rushed mistakes that always lead to costly rejections later. Moving right along to Section 2, required documents. Now, obviously, you need your physical Indian passport. But since this system is completely online, how your physical documents translate to digital uploads is literally make or break. The system demands a high-quality, bright digital scan of your personal information page. As you can see, the digital image must be perfectly clear and completely readable. It has to show the entire data page, no cropped edges, no shadows hiding your details, and absolutely no camera flash glaring over your face or your passport number. Every single detail needs to be completely visible to the naked eye. And speaking of uploads, you'll need a recent passport photograph that plugs straight into the government's digital portrait upload system. You need a photo that clearly shows your face in excellent lighting, matching your current, everyday appearance. So maybe save the heavy Instagram filters, retouching, and dramatic editing for your actual vacation photos, okay? The government's facial recognition system needs a sharp, high-res, completely unedited image of the real you to process your entry smoothly. Beyond your physical identity documents, you've got to gather all your specific travel information. This means your exact purpose of visit, how long you expect to stay, and those planned entry and exit checkpoints. The magic word for this entire phase? Consistency. Consistency is exactly what keeps immigration authorities from asking unnecessary, time-consuming questions. Ensure every single detail you prepare to input matches your actual itinerary flawlessly, right down to the specific airport you are flying into. You also need to know exactly where you'll be sleeping. Whether you're crushing with friends, visiting family, or booked at a nice hotel, you must provide the precise accommodation details and addresses. Having this hotel booking info or residential address copied into a separate document, ready to just paste right in, will save you a massive headache. It keeps you from scrambling through your booking emails while trying to fill out a timed government form before the session kicks you out. Here's a crucial point that trips up surprisingly many people. You must use an active email address. I really cannot emphasize this enough. Every single application update and ultimately your golden ticket, the eVisa approval itself, is sent to you electronically. If you mistype your email address or decide to use a junk folder you never actually check, you're going to be completely locked out of your application status, left totally in the dark while your travel dates rapidly approach. All right, Section 3, Online Application Steps. Take a good look at this specific interface. This is the actual government portal, and it is vital you only use this official site. You want to stay far, far away from unofficial third-party websites that masquerade as the real thing. Those brokers often charge hidden service fees or make completely false claims about guaranteed lightning-fast approvals. To protect your personal data and your wallet, always apply directly through the official Vietnam government eVisa portal. The core application procedure itself breaks down into a few distinct, pretty linear phases. First, visit the correct site to avoid the scams we just talked about. Next, upload those exceptionally clear, unedited digital documents we just prepared. And finally, meticulously enter your personal information line by line into the official database. It's straightforward, sure, but it demands absolute precision.
When you reach the upload screen for your passport data page, remember the strict rules we established earlier. Blurry or incomplete image files are the #1 reason for processing delays. You'll upload your passport data page and your portrait photo into these specific digital fields. If those images aren't properly cropped and perfectly legible, your application will immediately get held up in the processing queue, effectively hitting pause on your vacation plans before they even start. Then comes the data entry screen, and you've got to be completely obsessed with the details here. Every single field you fill out, from your full name and date of birth to your passport issue date and intended entry checkpoint, must perfectly match the documents you just uploaded. The automated system simply does not forgive discrepancies between what you type on your keyboard and what your scanned passport actually says. Even a swapped day and month on your birth date is a critical error. I honestly can't stress this pro tip enough. Review every single letter and number before you click submit, because even the smallest typo is going to halt your progress entirely. Before you finalize this step, double and triple check that your passport number is flawless and your name is entered exactly as it's printed on your travel documents. Treat this review process as the absolute most important 5 minutes of your trip planning. Which brings us to our final stretch, Section 4, Fees and Tracking. To finalize your application, you'll need an internationally accepted payment method. A single entry eVisa costs $25, while a multiple entry visa costs $50. But listen closely to this critical rule. According to the Vietnam government, these application fees are strictly non-refundable. That holds true even if your application is refused due to a simple spelling mistake on your end. It is a one-way transaction, folks. Once your payment goes through successfully, the portal system generates an application registration code. Treat this code like absolute gold. It is your lifeline. It is quite literally your only way to check your status later. Take a screenshot, write it down on a piece of paper, email it to yourself, do whatever it takes, but absolutely do not close that browser window until you have safely secured this specific alphanumeric sequence. Your final steps in this bureaucratic journey are simply securing that registration code, and then, usually a few days later, returning to that exact same official website to track your progress. You'll plug in your registration code, your email address, and your date of birth to access the database and see if you've been approved and are officially ready to fly. If you follow these steps, imagine this: glowing lanterns floating quietly on the water, incredible food, amazing sights. You've prepared your documents perfectly. You've navigated this strict online portal without a single typo, and you've securely stored your tracking code. Congratulations, your application has now been successfully submitted, bringing you one massive step closer to your actual journey into Vietnam. But before you go and book that non-refundable flight, let me ask you, is your application truly foolproof? Are you absolutely certain you know the real, on-the-ground processing times, or the surprising reasons travelers still get rejected at the very last minute? Getting the application submitted is just part one. Understanding how the government